The Emmys, television's biggest night, a celebration of stories, stars, and what the industry calls excellence. Millions watch the red carpet arrivals, the tearful speeches, the gold statues lifted high. But behind the glamour lies something the cameras will never show.
Give me the Emmy. Give me the Emmy. Give me the... Thank you.
Because the Emmys aren't just an awards show. They're a game of influence, politics, and control, where every nomination is fought for behind closed doors, every win is negotiated, and every image you see is engineered for maximum effect.
Will you marry me?
It looks like a celebration. In reality, it works more like an election, with millions of dollars at stake, careers on the line, and reputations that must be protected at all costs. So the question is, are the Emmys truly rewarding the best in television? Or are they rewarding the people who know how to play the system? This is humanity. Let's begin. The Emmys call themselves television's highest honor, a pure celebration of the very best the medium has to offer. But sometimes, the statue does more than reward artistry. It can shield reputations the industry already knows are in trouble. In 2015, Jeffrey Tambor was celebrated for his work in Transparent, hailed as a trailblazer, and applauded for representing a marginalized community. 2 years later, multiple colleagues accused him of harassment. His show cut ties, his career collapsed. His Emmy wins, still on the record, still played in highlight reels. Kevin Spacey's trajectory tells a similar story. For years, House of Cards was an Emmy favorite. Spacey was a regular on stage, presenting, winning, and networking with the industry's most powerful. Behind the scenes, rumors of misconduct were quietly shared. Yet the awards kept coming until 2017, when allegations went public and Netflix cut ties. The Academy's official stance is simple. Awards recognize the work, not the person. But is that enough? When millions watch you hand someone a trophy, is it just the performance you're celebrating, or the person too? And if the person has a history the industry is already aware of, does giving them that spotlight make you complicit? The uncomfortable truth is that in this system, prestige often outranks accountability. And when image matters more than integrity, the wrong people can keep getting the right platform. Winning an Emmy is framed as the ultimate validation, proof that your work is the best television has to offer. But behind the scenes, it looks far less like a celebration of art and far more like a political campaign. And like any campaign, it runs on money. Networks and streaming giants treat Emmy season the way political parties treat election season, an all-out push to secure votes. Billboards plaster Sunset Boulevard, glossy magazine spreads flood coffee tables, exclusive for your consideration events shower television academy members with catered dinners, open bars, and private Q&As with celebrities. None of it is accidental. It's lobbying, pure and simple, disguised as celebration. The numbers are staggering. Industry insiders estimate HBO has spent over $20 million in a single year to push a single show like Succession. Netflix's campaigns for The Crown and The Queen's Gambit were so relentless, Academy members joked, you couldn't walk through West Hollywood without being reminded who to vote for. Amazon turned The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel into a citywide marketing blitz, complete with vintage-themed parties and lavish merchandise for voters. The Academy has rules against outright bribery, but the line between marketing and influence is paper thin. Is an open bar and celebrity meet and greet really about celebrating art? Or is it about securing goodwill that can be cashed in on a ballot? And if the cost of a campaign can hit 8 figures, does that mean an Emmy isn't won, but bought? Because here's the reality. The shows and actors without massive marketing budgets rarely stand a chance. Which raises a question. If only the richest players can afford to compete, are the Emmys rewarding the best in television? Or just the best funded? All that campaigning doesn't just cost money, it costs people. And the bill is often paid by those who never get close to the stage. The Emmy red carpet looks effortless, flawless gowns, polished interviews, and big smiles. But behind every perfect moment are weeks, sometimes months, of relentless labor. For the stars, Emmy season means fittings, interviews, and appearances. For their teams, it means 16-hour days, last-minute demands, and work that stretches far beyond what they're paid for. Assistants deliver dresses across Los Angeles in the middle of the night. Junior publicists rewrite press releases a dozen times to match shifting campaign narratives. Makeup and hair teams work for hours without proper breaks, often for fees that don't match the value of the images they help create. Interns, many unpaid, take on for your consideration season, hoping it will lead to a permanent role. Instead, they burn out and are quietly replaced by the next wave of hopefuls. NDAs keep most of them silent about unsafe conditions, verbal abuse, or the toll the work takes on their mental health. Stylists, often celebrated in glossy magazines, work under immense pressure. A single red carpet miss can damage relationships with both clients and fashion houses. If a network decides a dress is too political or off-brand, the stylist is expected to fix it, even if that means starting over hours before the ceremony. It's a hidden economy, prestige at the top, exhaustion at the bottom. And when the lights go down and the cameras stop rolling, most of the people who made the night possible don't even get a mention, let alone a share of the glory. When the final award is handed out and the cameras stop rolling, the Emmys don't end. They just move out of sight. The real celebrations take place in private rooms and gated venues, at afterparties hosted by networks, studios, and luxury brands. For those on the guest list, these parties are more than a chance to relax. They're an extension of the Emmy campaign, a last opportunity to cement relationships, be photographed with the right people, and quietly discuss the next round of deals. Access is as carefully managed here as it is on the red carpet. The atmosphere is different once the public is gone. Alcohol flows freely, often supplied by brands paying for the product placement. The velvet ropes lead to more exclusive spaces where the rules are looser and the conversations less guarded. Over the years, memoirs from actors, stylists, and assistants have described Emmy night as a blur of excess, where social boundaries dissolve and reputations can shift in a single conversation. Cameras are banned, and those working the events are bound by strict NDAs. The public never sees this side, but within the industry, who you're seen with or who you avoid can influence casting decisions, renew contracts, or signal shifting alliances. In a business where relationships are currency, these gatherings are part celebration, part silent negotiation. For the elite, the night ends in penthouse suites or chauffeured cars. For everyone else, it's back to work the next morning, cleaning venues, returning gowns, and erasing any trace of what really happened once the lights went down. The Emmy red carpet is sold as a moment of self-expression, the one time stars can show the world who they are before the ceremony begins. In reality, it's one of the most controlled environments in the entertainment industry. Every look is the result of weeks of negotiation between stylists, fashion houses, and publicists. Designers don't just hand out gowns, they choose who will wear them based on profile, press potential, and existing relationships. A major nominee might get first pick from a couture collection, while a newcomer is left with whatever hasn't already been claimed. It isn't just about beauty, it's about branding. If a network is pushing a particular narrative, glamorous, approachable, politically neutral, the clothing will be chosen to match. Even small details, like a ribbon or a pin, are debated behind closed doors. A look deemed too risky can be vetoed at the last minute, forcing a stylist to start over hours before showtime. The final image, captured in seconds on the carpet, is never spontaneous. It's a calculated advertisement for the show, for the brand, and for the network. To the audience at home, it looks like freedom of expression. Behind the scenes, it's about control, and the person wearing the outfit often has the least say in the decision. The Emmys market themselves as a platform for artistry, a night when the most celebrated names in television can speak directly to the world, but the reality is far more managed. Before Emmy night, nominees are briefed by their publicists and often by their network or streaming service on what to say and what to avoid. Talking points are crafted to highlight the show, push its themes, and sidestep anything that might cause controversy. Even casual red carpet chats are often arranged in advance, with media outlets carefully selected for their friendliness. Those who ask tougher questions rarely get access. When someone does speak off script, the ripple effect behind the scenes can be immediate. Patricia Arquette's 2019 call for trans rights was widely praised, but it also sparked tense conversations among executives about staying on message. In other cases, certain actors are quietly kept away from interviews altogether, not because of personal disputes, but because they're seen as unpredictable or off-brand. The result is a curated reality. By the time Emmy night arrives, Most of what the public hears has been rehearsed, approved, and shaped to fit the campaign's goals. A handful of speeches might break through that wall, but they are the exception, not the rule. What looks like spontaneity is often strategy, and the freedom to speak is a privilege only some are granted. On Emmy night, diversity is front and center. The ceremony proudly celebrates historic firsts, the moments that make headlines and trend online. A Black woman wins in a category no Black woman has ever won before. An Indigenous actor takes the stage in traditional dress. The orchestra swells, the crowd rises to its feet, and the industry congratulates itself. These moments are important, but their rarity tells a different story. Michaela Coel's 2021 win for I May Destroy You marked the first time a Black woman had ever won Outstanding Writing for a limited series in the Emmys' 73-year history. Zendaya became the youngest two-time lead actress winner, a record that's still shocking in a ceremony that's been running for decades. Behind the applause is a truth the Academy rarely addresses. These are still firsts because the system has been slow to change. Representation gaps remain across the board. Latina and Indigenous performers are still largely absent from major acting categories. Directing and writing remain dominated by white men. Wins for underrepresented artists are often framed as extraordinary exceptions rather than part of a consistent pattern of inclusion. The Emmys excel at packaging diversity as a performance, highly visible in the moment, but fleeting. A headline-making win for a show like Pose doesn't guarantee more roles for trans actors. Ava DuVernay's When They See Us brought critical acclaim and multiple nominations, yet networks continued to pass on her pitches about marginalized communities. Diversity on Emmy night makes for powerful acceptance speeches and viral clips. But without structural change, those moments remain isolated. The Academy gets to celebrate its progress while the system that keeps most winners looking the same remains firmly in place. At the center of the Emmys is the Television Academy, a membership organization of roughly 20,000 industry professionals. On paper, it's a democratic system where peers vote for the best in their field. In practice, it's a structure that overwhelmingly benefits the biggest studios and those already entrenched in the industry's power circles. Members are divided into peer groups, actors vote for actors, directors for directors, and so on. But some groups are far larger than others, and shows backed by major studios often have far more members eligible to vote in multiple categories. That means a well-funded production can mobilize its own network's voting base, giving it a built-in advantage before campaigning even begins. Big studios also have the resources to ensure their members are active voters. They host screenings, send reminders, and keep their work front of mind throughout the voting period. Smaller productions, even critically acclaimed ones, simply can't compete with that level of access. The result is predictable. Year after year, the biggest winners tend to come from networks or streaming giants with the deepest pockets. This dynamic doesn't just affect who wins, it shapes what kinds of shows are seen as Emmy-worthy. Complex, risk-taking work from smaller creators may be praised by critics, but without the machinery of a major studio behind it, those projects rarely stand a chance. The Academy's membership also skews older, wealthier, and more connected to traditional industry power, which means the same kinds of shows, prestige dramas from HBO, star-driven comedies from Apple, and lavish limited series dominate again and again. For all the talk of celebrating the best and the Emmy structure protects the dominance of the gatekeepers, the outcome isn't just about the quality of the work, it's about who has the resources, the connections, and the numbers to control the vote. The Emmys sell themselves as a night to honor talent, creativity, and cultural impact. But behind the gold statues and red carpet smiles is a system built on selective celebration, one that rewards money over merit, silence over accountability, and image over reality. The scandals don't erase the artistry of the work that wins, but they expose a contradiction at the heart of the show. The same stage that uplifts groundbreaking performances can also legitimize people the industry has quietly protected. The same ceremony that champions diversity often does little to change the structures that make those wins so rare. And the same organization that claims to recognize excellence is often swayed by the same forces that decide political elections, lobbying, networking, and the influence of those already in power. For a select few, the prestige is worth it. An Emmy can transform a career, boost salaries, and secure a legacy. For studios and networks, A win can mean millions in extra revenue. But for the crews who work unseen, for the independent creators who can't buy a campaign, and for the artists excluded because they don't fit the mold, the Emmys serve as a reminder of who the system was built to serve. The cameras will never show that side. They won't follow the statue back to the boardrooms where deals are struck, or into the hotel rooms where decisions are rehearsed. But if the Emmys are meant to reflect the best of television, perhaps the real question isn't just who wins, it's what and who we're truly rewarding.